Okay, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time today, so let's go ahead and get started. Um, Good evening, everyone. I'm Tanya, founder of Finlit for Teens, and thank you everyone for being here today. So just a couple of housekeeping rules before we get started. The session is being recorded, so please make sure to stay on mute, and at the end of a session, we will have a time for Q&A. So whatever questions you have, just feel free to put them in the chat, and that's where we'll be addressing them from. However, if we don't get to your question, I will make sure to answer them through my channel. So let's get started. So my main goal with Finlit for Teens is to provide information and content on the basics of financial literacy with terms that are simple, bite-sized, and easy to consume. And so for today's session, I really wanted to introduce our guest speaker today, whose journey and story I was so inspired by, and how she paid off all her student loan debt in just 2 years. That was something that really resonated with me, and I'm sure will resonate with all of us, especially because we're going to be in those same shoes in just the next few years. And so I've been so excited and so looking forward to today to hear from our speaker. She'll be here to talk to us today more about her story and also about one of the most important pillars of finance, which is savings. How can we save? Why should we save? Should we start saving today? And so with that, I'd like to turn it over to CPA and founder of Savvy Girl Money, Miss Ashira Nelson.
Hello, thanks for having me. So like you said, today we're going to talk about saving, one of the pillars of personal finance. Honestly, a lot of the concepts that we discussed today is Finance 101. So I love to start with the basics, and then you build on your understanding from there. And at a very young age, if you can understand these concepts before you go out in life and you're an adult, if you can understand these concepts now, you will be way ahead of the curve as you advance through adulthood. So again, my name is Ashira Nelson. I am a CPA and founder of Savvy Girl Money. So a little bit about Savvy Girl Money. I started this platform 4 years ago. Even from a very young age, I always wanted to go into personal finance or just be in that profession. I decided in college that I would major in accounting because I figured that that major would give me the building blocks I would need to help my community, help my family with personal finance. So I graduated college with a little over $24,000 of student loan debt. But like the average college student, I didn't have all the answers figured out in the beginning. I got a job at PNC Bank, and I somewhat wanted to or started to pay back my student loans, but I did it at a very slow pace. I was paying $100 a month, maybe some months $150, but I was not taking it serious right out of college. Then I had a daughter, and once I had my daughter, I completely stopped paying. I went on deferment. Later, present day, about 3 years ago, I decided no more. I checked my balance, and I seen that even with the small payments I was making, my balance was still growing because my $100 payment that I was making only covered some of the interest. The principal amount had still been growing. So at that point, I was just frustrated. I was tired, and I told myself, it's time to make a plan and get out of student loan debt. So I made a plan, and I decided that I would pay $1,000 a month, some months more, in order to get out of student loan debt in 24 months. So I did it. I stuck to my plan. I'm sorry? Yeah. So many things kind of happened during that time, but I made sure I stayed focused and got it done. And current day, I am student loan debt free and also overall debt free with credit cards and other things like that. So today we're going to
Oh, whoops, Miss Nelson, I think I think I might have put you on mute for a second. Sorry about that.
No problem at all. So today we're going to discuss what is savings, the concept of paying yourself first, why saving is important, checking accounts, savings accounts, and how to exactly save. Because we always talk about save, save, save. You'll hear your parents say it, teachers, professors, but exactly how do I do that? We'll make sure you learn that today. So what is savings? Savings is income not spent. This income is typically set aside inside of a savings account. Actually, let me go back and elaborate a little more. So when you get your paycheck, we all have responsibilities or different things that we want to do, but the savings only make up the portion of your income that you actually don't pay out. What is saved, what you accumulate, what you don't spend on necessities, bills, and things like that. My favorite, if I can talk about any financial tip someone ever gave me, or my best financial tip that I can even give you, is the concept of paying yourself first. This is a habit that you want to develop. It's not always easy, and sometimes people get it confused because they're like, how am I going to pay myself first? I have bills, I have other needs. But if you develop this habit of saving first and paying yourself, no matter if it's $5, $50, $100. But if you develop this habit in the beginning, before you even get your first job, you tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do, you will be very well off. I definitely learned this concept later in life. I always put money aside, but I wasn't consistently paying myself first. As soon as I started to do this with my finances, things started to immediately change for me. So on payday, you want to first pay yourself first, then handle your bills. Again, I know this is hard to believe, but this is honestly a concept you want to get down. It'll help you in tremendously as you progress, graduate high school, go off to college, just whatever amount you can do is awesome. So this can be a fixed percentage. You can say every time I earn a paycheck, I'm going to pay myself $5. Or it could be a fixed dollar amount. Or it could be a fixed percentage and say, I'm going to give myself 5% or 10%. Or you can say, I'm going to give myself $50. I'm going to pay myself first, $50 each paycheck. No matter if you decide to go with a fixed percentage or a dollar amount, you want to make sure you do something and stay consistent with that every payday. Yes, you have the ability to change as your income increases, or if at any point your income decreases, but you want to make a habit of being consistent. A good amount or percentage to start with is 10%, but don't beat yourself up if that is too much based on your current financial situation. Just pick your percentage that you are comfortable with and start there. And what happens is that 10% or whatever amount you decide is transferred to your savings account every time you get paid. So it's payday. So happy, especially when you first start to get your first paycheck. I remember my first job, I was working at an amusement park, and I knew I needed to put money to the side, but nobody ever told me about the importance of consistency when paying myself first. So I would put $5, sometimes $10, or maybe $50, or if I have a good month, sometimes I'll do $100. But no matter what, once payday comes, you want to make sure you are first paying yourself and then handle your bills. I love these little bit emojis. I always think they're fun, and especially for different audience members. So why exactly is saving important? The sooner you develop a saving habit, the better. So if you can get this concept down at 15, by the time you're 30, trust me, you are going to appreciate your adult life. Save money, and money will save you when you need it. I don't know if you guys ever heard of an emergency fund, but let me tell you, as an adult, emergencies happen. And sometimes as a teen, I remember as a teen getting my first cell phone. Not maybe 2 days later, I dropped my phone in snow and could not find it. I just got out the car, it failed, didn't even realize that, and I was headed to school. I didn't even realize that I had dropped it until I got into the school building. Went back outside, search and search, finally found it later that day. And of course, my phone was destroyed. And actually, the phone was a gift, but I didn't want to seem irresponsible. The family member that bought me, I didn't want her to know that I had just dropped my phone like within 2 days of getting a gift. So thank God I had this emergency savings, and I was able to replace it at a very young age. But very young, I learned that I needed money set aside for emergencies to help me when times are hard. And situations could be worse than that. I replaced a material thing. It was more about the not coming off as being irresponsible. So I wanted to make sure I replaced that gift and to show I was appreciative. But other things can happen. You could be in college and you need a new tire or anything in life. You want to just make sure you are saving and then using that money in case an emergency happens. So there are different types of accounts. You can have a checking account or a savings account. Let's go in and discuss these different types of accounts and what you would normally see in each account. So a checking account. Checking accounts are typically used to pay bills and handle other needs. This is also known as a debit card, and it is accepted at different stores and restaurants. And what I love about checking accounts is they're accepted in so many different places. You'll normally see like a Visa card, MasterCard logo on it. It comes with your student account, or if you have like some type of kid or custodial account, they nowadays will give you some type of bank card. But the concept is you deposit your paycheck is then placed in your bank account, and they give you this debit card. Then we have a savings account. Savings accounts are sometimes a little different. I remember when I first had my first savings account at probably like three years old. It was with this local bank in Ohio. It was called a Dino account. The bank was Key Bank, and then they had a Dino account. I didn't actually have a credit card, but I could go into the bank, not at 3, but as I got older. I can go into the bank and then deposit money or take money out. My family member that got me this account always told me, money goes in, but do not let it come out if you can help it. Or if it's not an emergency, money cannot come out. So money here should be saved. You should only use this account for emergencies. So in this situation, you get paid. When you pay yourself first, you want to put this money into a savings account. You don't want to mix it up with your checking account. Remember, checking account is for your bills and handling other needs. That day-to-day spending is with a checking account. But when it's time to save, or when you have a savings, you want to make sure you're sending that money to your savings account. 2 different accounts. Awesome to have 2 different accounts to accomplish 2 separate goals. If you can figure out how to open up a bank account, usually with your parents' help. Open a bank account. They will give you the option to open a checking and savings account. Most of the time, these accounts are linked, so you can transfer money easily between the two. But just remember again, once money goes into your savings account, you leave it. This money only comes out for emergencies or to help you accomplish a goal. So, how to save? Let's jump into it. So, you transfer money from your checking account, into your savings account. Or when you get your first job, a lot of companies allow you to actually set up direct debit, where your paycheck is deposited directly into your checking account. Then from your checking account, you can set it up to automatically transfer a percentage or a fixed dollar amount into your savings account. Again, it could be a percentage or a fixed amount, like $5, $10, $50, whatever amount you decide based on your total income. And this transfer process can be done automatically. Like I said with your paycheck, paycheck comes into your checking account, and then it can automatically go into your savings account. You can actually set this up through your online banking. You can set this up by going into your online banking and say, okay, every 2 weeks, I want $50 transferred to my savings account. And it'll automatically be done. The money is out of sight, out of mind, and accomplishing your savings goal. Or you can manually get this done. You can, because your accounts are linked, you can just set up a transfer and say money goes from my checking account and into my savings and enter a fixed dollar amount. No matter if you do it automatically or manually, you just want to make sure you get it done and make it a habit. So again, so the automating process, your paycheck, you have your paycheck, and then you can set up, like I said, 10% goes to savings, and then the bank will automatically handle that. I've been doing this for a while now, but I remember reading about this in a book, personal finance book, and I was like, oh my God, like, why didn't somebody tell me this in the beginning of my journey? Or why didn't somebody tell me this in college? I never had, I knew about savings account because, like I said, I had one when I was younger, but nobody told me about automation. Because if it's automatically happen every paycheck, it's like, it's out of sight, out of mind. I'm not, this money is not sitting in my checking account. I'm not missing it. It's automatically handling its business. It's automatically accomplishing a goal, normally a savings goal. So, hey, it's just gone and I'm not missing it. I didn't expect it to be there. I knew that I had set up this automated transaction. So there it is. So yeah, I really, really love when things are automated with your money. So today, for joining me, I am going to give everyone, we're going to send this out or make sure everybody get it, savings tracker. This is a Savvy Girl Money savings tracker. And what I love about this helps me accomplish all of my savings goals. So how you use this form, and I'm actually going to show you what my actual savings. So this is actually my personal tracker. If you follow me on Instagram or go on there, you'll actually see this on my page. So right here, you say, what are you saving for? You could write that in. So are you saving for an emergency fund? Are you saving for college? Maybe you're saving for a new car or you're saving for a new laptop, no matter what your savings is for. Or you're simply building your savings account. For instance, I want to build an emergency fund and I wanted to build it up to $20,000. So down this column, I would then put my measurements. So I decided to set it up in measurements of 2,000 increments. So write that in here, but you could do whatever you want. You can have a goal of saving $100, and then you could put 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and so on. Whatever your goal is, This comes in a PDF form, so you can customize the amounts here, because look, it's blank. So you can enter your amounts here, what you're saving for and what your goal is. You can even set a date for yourself. Like with my student loans, I had in the beginning established that I was only going to give myself 24 months. Like no matter what happened in life or what was happening around me, I gave myself 24 months. And you'll later learn that sometimes putting yourself on a deadline is very helpful. It helps you stay motivated and committed. So here, my goal is to save $20,000 by the end of the year, which I don't think I'm gonna have an issue accomplishing that. Luckily, it's crazy that we're going through the pandemic, but the pandemic has helped me in a positive way, because it has allowed me to save a little more each month because I'm not going out, spending money. So I'm well on my way to savings. So make sure you guys, when you get your email, make sure you download this form. You can print it out at home and write it in and start saving or create a savings goal. This is very helpful. I love the idea of shading in. It just really keeps me motivated, even at my age. Like something about coloring, it's very relaxing, it's soothing, it just helps me. And I visually love the tracker sense because I know I'm gonna get to the top and reach my goal. So I hope you guys enjoy that.
Yeah, so that was an awesome presentation, Miss Nelson. Thank you so much. And yeah, I love the saving tracker. It's such a great way to, keep yourself accountable and help reach your goals. And so yeah, after this session, an email will be sent out. So just be on the lookout for that. And yes, so I'm gonna look here. It looks like we have some questions. So we have one from Stephanie, and she asks, what's the difference between paying yourself and saving?
So actually it's the same. It's just that whole concept of paying yourself first. It's just like a term, trendy term, but paying yourself first is you saving. So honestly, they're one and the same. Paying yourself first is saving, if that makes sense.
Okay, yes, thanks for addressing that. Next question from Afshin. Does putting money into a company 401k count as savings?
Absolutely, because that is saving for your retirement. One day we're all going to get old, so definitely. That is another a little bit out of this scope, but I love discussing retirement, and that is another piece of the whole paying yourself first. Because when you get paid, if you have it set up automatically to go into your retirement account, you are also successfully paying yourself first and saving. So yes, saving for retirement, contributing to your company's 401k is accomplishing this whole savings goal.
Okay. Next question. This was submitted to me from the chat. It looks like Stephanie just asked a question.
Okay.
Would you suggest that we have a savings and 401k, or will just one be fine?
Definitely both. Okay, so 401k, remember that is for retirement. I really prohibit people. I am against ever taking that money out before retirement. Yes, situations come up, just like the pandemic. I know some people have considered taking from their retirement, but I strongly suggest against habits like this because you want to start forming good habits. So I really strongly recommend taking from your retirement, but your savings is there to help you in times of need, in times of emergencies. So you want to have both. Your 401k or your retirement account is for retirement. And then your savings can be for your retirement if that is what you dedicate that amount to. But your savings can actually be for saving for a car, saving for a new computer, saving for a house, so saving for emergency. Your savings are for more sometimes short-term goals. not always as long as retirement. So you definitely want to have both.
Great. And one more question. What's a good saving account interest rate?
They are called high yield savings accounts. I have one with SoFi that I have joint with my husband, and it's pretty low right now because of the pandemic. But before the pandemic, it was around 2%. So that's what I'm always trying to strive to get back to. So I would say a good one is 2%. But when you are ready to open an online savings account, you want to make sure you compare rates at that time. And it's super easy. You just go on Google and simply Google what are the best high yield savings accounts for, let's say, 2020. And you can even go, what is the best online savings accounts for July of 2020? And you should find an article, nerdwallet.com always have an update of this article, and it'll actually list out all the top companies and their rates. So definitely compare rates or the interest rate amount before opening an account.
Okay, great tip, Ms. Nelson. On a side note, there's a quick link to a survey in the chat. So if you guys could just go fill that out, that would be great. Thank you. And I think we have time for one last question.
Yeah.
That is stocks or real estate. Stocks or real estate, what is your preferred investment strategy?
I would say I don't have a preference over the two. And while I say this is because I am all about diversifying. So I have my 401k, which I invest in different mutual funds like Vanguard, and in there I do international, domestic, and I have some real estate investment trusts. So that's all in my 401k. But then outside of that, I have an account with Betterment. It allows me to also invest in ETFs, which are electronic exchange funds. So it's like a pool of different stocks. So it also allows me to diversify. So I have my 401k, my Betterment account, and then I also invest with my husband in real estate. We have rental property, and we have a property we are now actually just got listed Monday, a flip that we did. So I am all about diversifying. So I say, don't limit yourself. Whatever your natural interests are, or whatever you want to try out, especially while you're young, take the risk. See how much you love stock. And as you learn more, take risks with stock and jump out and try out real estate. I am finding out that I really love it. It's hard work, very hard work, but I feel like it's very rewarding too. So while you're young, try it all. Hey.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. That's really impressive, Ms. Nelson. You're a really great role model, for all of us teens just starting out our financial journey. I think there's so much more that we can learn from you. So I want to just thank everyone for being here today. Thank you, Ms. Nelson, for being here today. And if you guys could all just do me a really big favor and go check out her Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook page. She's got awesome content on all things finance, and I'm sure they will be of great use to you. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your night.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.